The man suddenly heard a noise downstairs. He immediately set down his glass of wine, walked over to the bookshelf, and pulled out a vinyl record. Sliding it from its sleeve, he shoved the record into the oven, adjusted the temperature, and then stepped out onto the balcony to hide. Just as he finished setting everything up, a group of heavily armed thugs kicked the front door open and stormed in, tearing the place apart in search of something. The next second, a shrill alarm blared inside the apartment. The gang leader slowly opened the oven. The violent explosion blasted the man off the balcony and sent him crashing onto a car below. This hardened man was Will, a former CIA field operative whose job was to handle the government's dirtiest, most sensitive problems. These days, Will had already resigned and disappeared from the spy world. He'd reinvented himself as a skilled mason, specializing in restoring ancient buildings. One evening, Will stopped by a bar to unwind with a drink or two. To his surprise, he heard a familiar voice. Turning around, he saw the current CIA director, who just so happened to be looking for him, asking for a favor that only Will could handle. A few days earlier, a journalist for the German Times had been murdered inside his US apartment. The scene was cleaned so meticulously, it was clearly the work of a professional. But Agent Kate, while reviewing nearby surveillance footage, spotted a subtle clue. When she zoomed in and got a clear look at the suspect's face, Kate gasped. She rushed to report her findings to Director White, who was equally stunned. The man was Claude, a former CIA Black Ops agent with a history of successful missions. 3 years ago, after refusing to follow an order, Claude had been officially declared executed by the agency. His reappearance could only mean one thing: he was hiding something big. In recent weeks, several foreign journalists critical of the United States had been assassinated. Kate suspected someone was framing the CIA and that Claude was the one orchestrating it. To uncover the truth, White decided to send Kate with Will to Greece. If it turned out Claude was behind it all, they were to make sure he vanished from the world once and for all. That night, back on his balcony, Will's mind wandered to memories of playing on the beach with his kids. The very next moment, a bullet tore into him. Will dove behind a nearby concrete pillar, grabbed his toolkit, and quickly patched up the wound with duct tape. He clipped on a descender hook, stood up, and leapt straight off the rooftop. The second he hit the ground, gunfire rained down on him. Without hesitation, Will scrambled for cover again. He tossed his safety goggles onto the ground and used their reflective lenses to track the killer's movements. When the two gunmen approached the goggles, they realized, too late, that Will was gone. Before they could react, Will ambushed one with a hammer, taking him out instantly. As bullets from the second assassin ripped through the air, Will slipped away once more. Spotting an opening, he flung his helmet to draw the gunman's attention, then swiftly struck, hammering down the second killer with lethal precision.